Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? Welcome to another 1 nil show and World Cup fever. It's so cool. It's so exciting. And I cannot wait. Plenty of football to talk about. So make sure you stay tuned, stay involved, get commenting down below. And if you are new, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as well so you don't miss any future videos because we've got some cool stuff coming. Plenty of stuff on the channel. And the Socceroos, I'll tell you what, the Socceroos, we've got some. It's going to be a big week. So before we get into it, if you do enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, do that business, keep up to date with the channel, subscribing and liking and commenting and sharing with your friends. It obviously all helps us build the brand that we want to hopefully build in the future and that we can't do it without you guys. So thank you for all the support as well. But let's get into it. The World Cup, it's been crazy. I know there was a bit of conflict before it started, whatever, but it's so good just having football on every day, especially here in Melbourne, Australia, whatever, the earlier games at 9 p.m. And you come home, you might be doing something and you know you've got football on at 9 p.m. Came home from futsal last night. The football's on. Let's watch a World Cup, and it's a pretty cool thing to do on a chill Tuesday night or a Monday night. You love to see it. Now the World Cup, it's been hot. There's been a couple of upsets. We saw the Saudi Arabia game. What a game that was against Argentina. Unbelievable. But today I'm going to kind of go through some of my moments. And maybe some of the moments are good, some of them are bad, some of them are controversial. Review a couple of the big stories coming out of the past week, and then preview some interesting fixtures because we're getting to that nitty gritty end of the group stages, where we're getting to that point where a draw means this, a win means this. It's a do or die moment. We already know Qatar and Canada, the World Cup is finished. They cannot progress through. Obviously they got one more game, but they can't get through past the group stage. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Let me know in the comments down below as well if you enjoy. So straight into it, 3 moments of the week so far that I've picked out, and I think we can start with none other than the Socceroos. Obviously, I'm here in Australia. All the boys, all the girls, we were there at Fed Square. It was unbelievable. Ultra football as well. They're showing the games live, so make sure to get down there as well because it's against Denmark, 2 a.m. It's going to be cold, but the Fed Square scenes was unbelievable. I don't want to be like that. I love Australian football. I wanted to do well, this and that, which, it's very important. But generally, I was there like, oh my God. Because sometimes I feel like you can feel a little bit alone if you're a huge, deep Australian football fan. Sometimes it feels like, there's obviously people, whatever, but it's so heavily Premier League focused. It's so heavily Barcelona, Real Madrid, Champions League club sort of focused. And we don't look in our backyard sometimes. And to see what the Socceroos could do, and the Socceroos, Australia, okay, we beat Tunisia. And there'd be other countries looking at that and go, you only beat Tunisia 1 nil. Like, just relax. But the Socceroos, we're probably never going to win a World Cup. These moments like this, and it's something that I said, I think like last year, where you see countries celebrate even just qualifying for a World Cup like they've won it. Because it's a big thing. I couldn't imagine the Socceroos or not supporting a country in the World Cup. I've also got a Greek background. Greece isn't in the World Cup. I would love to support 2 teams, Greece and Australia. Like, it'd be an incredible sort of moment and pretty cool to watch. Unfortunately, Greece obviously aren't there, but now I've obviously got Australia to support too. It adds that extra bonus of having a club, having a country to support. And having that real connection to them. I don't really care who wins the World Cup, in all honesty. Like, yes, there's favourite players, this and that, but as long as it's good, that's it. Other than Australia, it doesn't really bother me who wins the World Cup. Would I like to see maybe Argentina win it for Messi, Portugal win it for Ronaldo, Brazil, they're obviously an exciting team? Possibly, but at the same time, it is what it is sort of thing. So the scenes that were happening on Saturday night was incredible. So many Aussie fans out in town. It was a perfect time, prime time, 9 p.m. Saturday night. The bars, the pubs were pumping. The boys made a night of it. It was good fun. But just to see that, the flares that were going off, and I know there might have been a couple of instances, but for a majority of it, it was quite, everything was quite civilized to the best of its ability. Seeing people, talking to people, it's that perfect footballing aspect and the perfect footballing raw emotion that you can express of when you score, you hug whoever's around you. And you can, the scenes that went out, it was incredible to see. I know I'm kind of rambling on, but it was just so exciting. And to see that Mitchell Duke goal go in, and he's someone that I've given a bit of stick. I was fuming when he was starting, but he does play, and especially you can see the way Graham Arnold, I guess, wants to play. We've got to put crosses in the box. And against Denmark, I think Duke gets the start again because Denmark, we know we're going to have to defend. We know we're going to have to be strong. We know we're going to have to sort of run and just crash those bodies when we have to, because a point is enough for Australia to progress out of the group. I actually predicted Australia to get out of the group on the Ultra Football podcast, which you can watch on the Ultra Football YouTube channel. But it's going to be it's going to be very, 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 I guess, emotional and exciting and impactful if Australia can get out of this group. And I know what people think. Okay, you get out of the group, then you lose in the round 16. Yeah, but at the same time, like, we're there. I've never witnessed us get, like, I've been young. I'm 20 years old. In recent memory, I don't really remember us, getting out of the group. And I mentioned before, and there's going to be a cool little video that I hopefully can make on Instagram, which is @_1 nil. Go follow that. Just sort of expressing that this could be my generation's Uruguay moment, my generation's, Aloisi moment. This could be just a monumental moment. And I guess the big words we're saying are it could be or it might be, which you don't want to put that extra pressure on the boys. You don't want to put that extra sort of emotion. But at the same time, you got to get behind them. And seeing everyone get behind them, and sometimes here, we're just so quick to put people down. Seeing everyone get behind the boys, it was just really, really good to watch. So we're going to touch on that later on, the Australia-Denmark game, what we need to do, what do we need to do differently, how can we make sure that we, I guess, don't concede as many and give ourselves the best opportunity to at least get a point, which will be enough for us to progress through, which hopefully should be tasty. That's assuming Tunisia lose as well, but yeah, whatever. My next moment, Morocco. Morocco beat Belgium, and Belgium, wow. Belgium, they're not good, and every year they're always people's dark horse. They're always, Belgium's a good team, got good players. I was pretty quick to shut them down for this World Cup. I was pretty quick to sort of lower my expectations, and what happened there was, I guess, quite evident today. The Morocco 2-0 win against Belgium. Kevin De Bruyne expressing his story, all these past sort of clips and stuff, and interviews are coming out saying that they're not going to win. They're not going to win a World Cup. Too old, all this sort of stuff. There's riots and all that sort of thing in Belgium, because Belgium, obviously, you demand the most, I guess, the best sort of possibility of everything. And what's happening now, it's quite interesting to see. While I pull up you look at Belgium, they're third in their group. They've got 3 points to their name. Croatia sit on top, Morocco sits second, and Belgium within the next week are playing against Croatia. So you look at that and you just go, Belgium might not get out of the group. If you assume Croatia wins that game, they go to 7 points. Belgium obviously lose. Morocco, they go through. They go through. And goal difference is going to be a thing too. So Belgium have to beat Croatia to advance through to the round of 16, which is huge. Look at Kevin De Bruyne. Hazard was copying a bit of stick. He doesn't play that much football. Does he even deserve getting called up? Which I think obviously he does deserve to. But at the same time, are you playing people that are on the best form, or what is this sort of thing? So Belgium find themselves in a little bit of trouble, but credit to Morocco, Hakim Ziyech, Hakimi, some decent little players as well. My next one, I'm going to go for the lack of goals. So a little bit more of a sour note. There's not a lot of goals. And I think we remember from the Russia World Cup, there was, obviously a lot of penalties scored. VAR was quite controversial, but we're looking at games that don't feel as progressively quicker. And there could be a lot of things. It could be the environment. It could be the time of the year for players, and all those sort of different aspects that people were saying prior to the World Cup. We could be seeing this really come into full effect now. We're getting 1-0 games, 1-1 games. We saw Belgium, we saw Germany and Spain this morning. Plenty of 1-1 sort of performances, 1-0, 2-1 sort of thing. Nothing too major. Obviously, we've got the exceptions with the Spain-Costa Rica game and England-Iran, but that's the one thing. Maybe the lack of goals. Why is it? Is it purely because maybe countries are being a little bit defensive, a little bit more defensive in the group stage? We know how crucial it is. Like, we're not seeing really, other than France, we're not really seeing anyone just clean the competition. So Portugal play Uruguay tomorrow morning at the point of recording this, and there's plenty of stuff to watch out for. And then the lack of goals. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think it's been a boring World Cup so far? Has it been as exciting as maybe the most recent ones? I'm not too sure. So there's plenty of topics there as well. So bit of a brief review now. There's some controversial sort of points. You saw Japan, Costa Rica getting a late sort of goal, winning that game 1-0. Where that leaves Japan now is quite interesting. Japan is second in their group because of Spain winning. Germany are rock bottom of that group. You wouldn't think a group with Costa Rica and Japan. Japan are a good side, but Germany now have to beat Costa Rica. Are they going to have that? This morning's point was quite crucial, considering the fact that they were losing in that game as well. Germany, they're a weird team. I don't think even if they do progress out of the group stage, I don't think they're going to be a serious threat at all. From what I saw from Germany this morning, they're a bit slow. They're a little bit heavy. There's not. I think defensively they just don't really know their best sort of shape, and I think the midfield is quite easily able to get run through. And we saw Spain was doing that this morning with the likes of Pedri and Gavi. I mean, how Spain can have two of generational midfielders in Iniesta and Xavi retire, and then replace them like that with Xavi and Pedri. Like it's crazy. It's Gavi and Pedri, so it's crazy. It's crazy. But I think a lack of striker might be also an issue for Spain. But again, they've never really had that superstar striker. I mean, I know there's David Villa, but like not your traditional number 9. So Spain, that was obviously interesting to see. Germany versus Spain this morning, like I said, Germany where they sit. Spain, I think I like Spain. I kind of had them as a little bit of a dark horse sort of thing to get a couple results here and there, and sort of just remind people that they had an extensive run in the Euros. You know, they did push along, and if it wasn't for them losing in penalties against Italy, I think they probably would have beat England in the final. So we could be looking at the Euro final winners. I mean, the current Euro final winners, they are not in the World Cup. So shame on you, boy. So it's gonna be interesting to see then again that scenario play out. You've got France versus Denmark, which happened. France, Kylian Mbappe. I think Kylian Mbappe is getting a lot of undeserved criticism, and I know I haven't been the biggest fan of Mbappe, but I mean, I know I'm Aussie and Atkinson, whatever, but one-on-one, I think Mbappe probably is by far the best player in the world. In a 1v1 scenario, who do you want attacking, your left back or your right back? I think it's Kylian Mbappe. He will always skin your player. He will always take the ball get past him. And I think something from me, like watching him against Australia especially, he can he's staying still. Look, boom, he's off. He's gone. Like he's standing to I guess to extreme speed and I guess to extreme extreme explosion like out of the running. It's unbelievable. It's second to none. So Mbappe, I think, is going to be huge. I think he's leading the Golden Boot as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, there's a couple players all on the same sort of thing. He's leading with Enner Valencia, and I think Mbappe might score a couple more goals than Enner Valencia. But I think Mbappe, I reckon he's got to be a bit of my pick to win the Golden Boot now as a sort of midway point sort of thing. Mbappe's been crazy. France, lots of injuries, and it was it was well highlighted as well. But I mean, they've obviously got a great team. You know, their second team is still good enough. Speaking of second teams being good enough, Brazil. How good are Brazil? I understand on the thumbnail and the title, this could be Brazil's to lose. Because you're looking at other countries, you know, look at Argentina. They got the 2-0 win against Mexico, but obviously they had a bit of a blunder against Saudi Arabia. Are they as strong as what people think? It's still very early days also. I know it's tournament football and you've got to start really quick and start strong, but I'm looking at some of the obvious ones. I don't think Croatia are that much of a threat. I think the lack of striker could kill them against the good teams. I know they beat Canada 4-1 and Kramaric pulled up, but I don't really think Croatia are that strong. I think Germany won't obviously be a threat. They might never get out of the group. I think there's obviously France, and I think France might silence the haters, so to speak. England's another one. Obviously, USA is a bit of a bogey team for them, but again, England. It's England. I don't think they can win the World Cup. Netherlands is there as well, but like I think Brazil, honestly, it is their World Cup to lose, and that might be an outrageous call, but the team they have, and I know people are going to say Neymar's injured, he's missing the next 2 group games. That would almost be Brazil's way of just saying, you know what, I know you're injured, but we're going to get out of the group. Do not risk it. Do not play another group stage game because we need you for that final sort of, that round 16, quarterfinal, semi-final. Yes, it might bounce back to hurt them, but the ability they have to replace the players off their bench is second to none. Like they just continue to prove why they are one of the best footballing nations in the world and arguably of all time. So Brazil's going to be an interesting one. They've got Switzerland tomorrow morning. I think they'll get past that pretty easily. Then we look at Portugal. What the fruit? Portugal versus Uruguay. Uruguay were a bit disappointing last time. Last game I watched, they were a little bit disappointing. I thought maybe they would get a little bit more from Uruguay. Obviously, there's a Fede Valverde in there. We all know how good of a baller he is. Generational sort of talent. Uruguay will be interesting. Portugal, Ronaldo scoring the penalty. They got a 3-2 win against Ghana. Wasn't convincing, but I guess at the end of the day, they got the 3 points. South Korea and Uruguay drawing obviously means that they're on top of that table. It's going to be the second time we've seen these nations play. So I think that's a good game. It's a very good game to watch out for because Uruguay can sort of get themselves back on track after last week and then get a good win against Portugal, and obviously which is sort of their direct competition for that top spot, you'd think. Whereas South Korea at the same time against Ghana can get another 3 points on the board and make that top sort of battle for progression out of the group stage a very, very interesting one, and one that could go either way. Then we've also got Wales versus England, which we know no matter how good Wales are or how bad they are, it's always a tough game. England, I don't think they're going to have any worries with this. I think they would actually pump Wales. I'm going to go 3-0 win for England. Southgate, Phil Foden, what's he going to do? I think you've got one of the best technical footballers, arguably, at the World Cup in your possession, and you're not playing him. And I know he's not using that 10 role as much for Manchester City, but you've got Foden. I mean, this kid is unbelievable. He will give you 110%. Okay, don't start him. All right, put him on 60th minute, 65th minute. Foden can be that game changer for them, and it's a pretty good weapon to think that they've played 2 games and they haven't used him. But I think that 10 issue is got to be a problem for them. No Mason Mount is obviously in there, but Maddison, a bit of an injury cloud. I think unless you'd be silly not to use Phil Foden in that 10. You're just saying it like he's never played there before or he's not good enough to play there. Someone of his abilities can easily, even though he's not doing it week in, week out for Manchester City, slide into that number 10 role. I mean, you've got good wingers, you've got a good striker, and you've got 2 fantastic midfielders playing behind that 10. I don't think having Phil Foden there is going to do that much more damage. In a negative sense. If anything, it's going to be a lot better, which is why I agree. I think they should use it, and they should use their resources, I think, a lot better. And I think that's going to be one of Southgate's biggest criticisms is how is he using his best assets? Is he using them enough? Is he using them to their best sort of potential? What's that sort of thing got to be? So England are an interesting one. I think they will beat Wales, but it's going to be very interesting to see. And then we'll touch on it last. I know it's been very Socceroos heavy, but Australia versus Denmark. Australia. Now, what's my heart's always... look, I really don't know. I want to give you a prediction, but I don't know. The Socceroos are a weird team. Aaron Moy, by far our best player still. By far. I mean, it's not even close. Aaron Moy is still the guy. Harry Suter... exceptional. Karasic, don't start. He's shit. The right back, he sucks. Defensively, we need to be extremely, extremely strong. And I'm going to throw a suggestion out. I'm going to throw Milos Degenek starts right back. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. I'm going to go Milos Degenek starts right back against Denmark. We're not going to go and chase the game. I'd love to see us push Denmark and try to go for the win. But knowing what's at stake, I expect Graham Arnold to identify it and go, you know what, we need to be stronger defensively. Unless Atkinson is fit. But at the same time, I think Degenek is a much better defender than Atkinson and Karasic. Karasic is not good. He sucks. Get him off. But I think I wouldn't be surprised to see it. I think we'll go for the same sort of lineup with, and then Hrustic. Again, this Hrustic start. I mean, it's tough on McGree, but I think Hrustic, when you've got someone like him on the bench, I think you've got to play him. So I'm going to go say that I think Australia will get a point. I don't think we're going to win. I think we'll get a point and make it one of the greatest moments of my entire life. Like, I cannot wait. I cannot. I'm buzzing. Absolutely buzzing for it. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for watching. That's been the 1 NIL show. And again, if you do want to continue seeing my ugly mug on other places, go to the Ultra Football YouTube channel. We've got the Ultra Football podcast. It's me, and every week I try to rotate a guest. Hopefully this week we've got a pretty cool guest. And then we've also got some cool stuff, a bit of women's content coming as well very soon. So make sure to like, subscribe, do that business. Australia game, let's do it. Socceroos, Lego!